Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pure Ambition podcast. We are back Monday morning with a solo episode. I mentioned in the last one, I'm going to be bringing back more of these solo conversations, just speaking what's on my mind and really just trying to provide as much value as possible with whatever new things might be happening in my life, something that I've experienced that I want to share, some sort of test that I'm running on myself, just any sort of updates, really just trying to bring, like I said, as much value as possible in less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to keep all of these episodes under 10 minutes. And I know I'm eating up your time right now. So we are going to dive right into it. Okay. Topic of today's episode is 5 nutrition hacks to have energy all day. So, as you guys know, I have not been able to really train much over the past month since having my cardiac episode, my cardiac scare. However, I have been able to do some incline walks on the treadmill, some light legs. So, leg press, leg curls, hip hikes, little mini band walks, some mobility, things like that. So I'm still able to move and whatnot, still able to keep a little bit of strength in my legs, but I can't do anything with my upper body. Still pretty sore from the surgery that I had with the subcutaneous ICD defibrillator that was put in my side. So still working through all that, but eventually we will get back to it. However, since I'm not able to train the way that I typically would, one, I'm not eating as much, and two, I'm not eating as much because I'm not expending as many calories. But I still need my energy on a given on a day-to-day basis. And really looking back on the past couple of months of when I was training really hard, it was like I was really just shot, mentally, physically, emotionally. I was just drained. And a lot of it was because of the way that I was eating. And now, yes, I'm not expending myself as much physically. So that's probably why I have more energy. But even still, after going through this cardiac episode, after having the surgery, after getting back home from the hospital, and just getting back into the routine and flow of everyday life, I've really, really, really been focused on my energy. And so, I've been doing meditation every day, prayer every day. I have been just really dialing into my mental and my my mental and my spiritual well-being rather. And, ultimately I'll get back to training hard again, God willing, soon enough. But until now, it's all about energy. And one of the ways that I have been able to maximize my energy throughout the day has been through nutrition. And like, I'm dead serious, guys. I've been so juiced up and energized throughout the day. I'm like, what has been going on? And so I kind of just like took a step back because obviously, like when I have these breakthroughs, I want to share them with you guys so that you can apply them to your life too. And when I really thought about it, it was nutrition. And obviously the core pillars, the core principles are one, eating whole foods, eating nutrient dense foods. If you can, buy organic, grass finished, pasture raised, all the good stuff because it really does make a difference. Understand if you can't afford that, it's not everybody can, but when you can, it really does make a difference. So I really came down to 5 things that I've been doing on a day-to-day basis that have really helped me maximize my energy levels. The first thing is something that I've been doing for a while, and that's 20 to 24 ounces. I just fill up my shaker bottle of water with electrolytes and lemon first thing in the morning. Literally get out of bed. First thing I'm doing is I'm getting water and electrolytes and a quarter of a lemon, putting it all together, mixing it up in the shaker bottle, and downing that. America is chronically dehydrated. And many of us, I used to be this guy too, but would reach for coffee first thing in the morning. And that's basically just like setting off a bomb for our hormones. and we need water. So, water with electrolytes first thing in the morning, that is super important. Gonna hydrate your organs. Sean Stevenson, he says it's like a cool bath for your organs. So, could not recommend anything more than that. The second thing is caffeine. Wait to have your caffeine at least 90 minutes after waking up. That has been huge. I'm not the scientist or genius that was behind this. It was Andrew Huberman. I listened to him say that, probably months and months and months ago, and I've been pretty religious about it every day. And I no longer get that like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. crash that I used to. So caffeine delay for 90 minutes kind of allows our cortisol levels to naturally rise, which is our fight or flight hormone. And we want that to rise naturally throughout the day. And if we spike it first thing in the morning, that's why we have a crash around 2, 3 p.m. The third thing is backloading my carbs. So I won't typically have my first meal. I wake up around 6 and I'll have my first meal not till around like 10, between 10 and 11. And that alone has really allowed my energy levels to stay high because I'm not, my digestive system's not having to work hard. So I'm able to just, tap into my mental energy that's there. And so backloading my carbs, basically what that means is having high protein and high fat early in the day. So my first meal, I'll pretty much have no carbs. And again, keep in mind, guys, this is relative to me. And I'm not telling you that this is what you should or shouldn't be doing because, like, if you're training really, really hard for something right now, I would not recommend going low carb. But for me, since I'm not training hard right now, I'm not exerting as much energy. I've been going lower carb. So my first meal is 4 eggs with organic turkey breast and then some roasted red peppers, some onions, some arugula. That omelet has been my go-to, and I'll have a cup of bone broth with that as well, so keeping fat and protein high, and then having most of my carbs later in the day. So I'll have like a yogurt bowl with some berries, maybe a little bit of honey or maple syrup. Um, that's where I'm getting a decent amount of my carbs. And then for dinner, I will have, avocado. It's got a little bit of carbs. Fruit, honey is really, and yogurt really, and dairy are really the only places I'm getting my carbs from. I'm not really eating any potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, or anything like that. However, I will get some gluten-free pizza from Via 313 down here in Austin, or I'll go and get a burger some days. But if I know that I'm going to be doing that, I again make sure that I'm keeping my carbs lower throughout the day. And overall, it's been working for me. It's not something I'm going to do forever. Obviously, when you're training, you need those carbs. So that is what I'm doing right now, backloading my carbs. Fourth thing, eating fiber before meals. And I want to share a quick little story with you guys. And we might go over 10 minutes. That's all right. This is important. So, my mom and I were driving down here to Austin from Philly 2 months ago when I moved, and we were listening to the Glucose Goddess, Jessie in Pay, I believe is her last name. She calls herself the Glucose Goddess. So, a lot of these tips are like, well, this tip rather is also from the Glucose Goddess. And basically, by adding fiber before your meals, you're creating this like protective layer in your gut. And it's also going to help deliver the nutrients that you're going to get from the bulk of your meal to the rest of your body. So for me, I don't eat a ton of vegetables anymore, but I will eat like arugula or squash or carrots or celery or cucumbers or something like that. So my mom and I, when we were moving down here, there was this place next to our hotel in Nashville called Parlor Donuts, and oh my gosh, they just look insane. So I was like, "Mom, like I don't care, like we're getting a Parlor Donut tomorrow before we drive out of here." So what we did was after listening to the podcast with the Glucose Goddess and hearing that eating fiber before a meal can lower your blood sugar, prevent you from having a glucose spike after you're eating, which ultimately causes these crashes in energy later in the day. We were like, okay, we're gonna try this out. So we got some arugula from Whole Foods, and then also an avocado. And so we had like a little bit of arugula and avocado. Then we went and picked up our omelets from a local restaurant, and we ate the arugula and the avocado, and then we ate the omelet, and then we ate the donut, which, is was freaking unbelievable. It was the best donut I've ever had. And typically, I usually feel like an absolute sack after I eat something with that much sugar, that many carbohydrates, that much just crap within it. But it was delicious. I didn't feel any crash or anything. Like I felt super energized the whole rest of the day. Granted, I did get a little workout in beforehand that morning to reset my circadian rhythm, my natural body clock, get the blood flow moving. So if you're gonna have those sweets, have them after your meal and after a workout. It's the best time to have them. But I was shocked. I was like, wow, I feel my gut health feels great. I feel energized, and I was in the car for the rest of the day, and even still, no crash. So eating fiber before meals, that has been huge. Usually, I will just take like a handful of arugula or some chopped celery or cucumbers or something like that and just have a few of them before I eat. And then I'll eat my proteins and fats, and then I'll have my carbs at the end of the meal. Okay, last tip here. Going for a walk or getting some kind of movement in after I eat has been absolutely massive. So I've just been making it a habit to take 10 minutes after I eat, and that is the time where I will respond to emails or text messages or DMs or Slack notifications with my team or whatever it is I have to do. Like those 10 minutes um, are going to be, 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes 10 to 20 minutes. So I'm getting like 30 minutes to an hour of extra walking in per day. And I'm still being productive by responding to these messages, these DMs, these emails, and whatnot. And it has made an absolute massive, massive difference. Again, like I read The Glucose Revolution by Jessie and Charles Bay, the glucose goddess, and this was one of her tips. And we're always told growing up, don't go in the pool 30 minutes after you eat, let your food digest, and don't run around after you eat and things like that. And you know, I think it might have been backwards, like a lot of things we were taught when we were younger. We gotta put that food that we just ate, like, to work, otherwise our glucose is gonna spike. So even if you can't go for a walk, say you're in an office, you're in a meeting, or, you're swamped with work, whatever else it may be, just pump your calves underneath your desk. You can just pump your calves, do some push-ups, like, up against your desk, maybe do some air squats, whatever else it is. Just get a little bit of movement in. Like, say you work like I said, like, if you work in an office and you have 30 minutes to eat lunch, plan to eat your lunch in 20 minutes and then take a 10-minute walk, and then you're back to work at your office. Boom. There you go. That has been absolutely massive for me, and I couldn't recommend it more. And then I got a bonus hack for you guys. So this has been something that I learned after wearing a Whoop, which is basically like a health coach on your wrist. I wore that for a year. I'm not wearing it anymore, but what it did was it would track your sleep, your how much deep sleep you were getting, how much REM sleep you were getting, track your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, and ultimately give you like a recovery score the next day. And I realized that when I did not eat 3 hours before bed, so when I stopped eating 3 hours before I went to bed, my recoveries were so much better. My heart rate variability was higher. My resting heart rate was lower. And I just felt like I was able to sleep so much better and feel more energized when I woke up the next day. And like when I eat a lot before I go to bed, I wake up with this like awkward stomach ache slash like, am I hungry or not first thing in the morning? And I don't get that when I eat 3 hours before I go to bed. Now, I don't always do that. I really aim for two, um, realistically, a lot of times. But like for me, I try to go to bed at 10. So I try to have my last meal I try to be done eating by 7. And that for me has been a huge hack to get better sleep. And ultimately, it's a cycle. So you get better sleep, you're going to be more energized the rest of the day. And when you get better sleep, you're going to be more likely to repeat the healthy habits like the ones mentioned in this podcast. So that is my 5 hacks for having energy throughout the day. My 5 nutrition hacks to have more energy throughout the day. And I hope you guys can take at least one of these, apply them to your life so that you have more energy to do the things you love, to be more mentally sharp, and ultimately just live a better life. Please leave your comments or share any questions you have by shooting me a DM at Dominic Fusco on IG. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. And like I said, shoot me a DM if there's any other topics that you would like me to discuss on these solo episodes. It's really just about bringing as much value to you guys as possible. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on Wednesday. Love you guys. Peace.